you're all doing good and staying safe. My name is Pradeep, also known as Digital Stills on the interweb, and I'm a freelance photographer. So, what do I actually shoot? My commercial clients who pay me for my images and video are usually food and beverage clients, coffee companies, cafes, restaurants, food bloggers, etc. And even sometimes lifestyle clients, couples, engagement shoots, pregnancy shoots, product lifestyle photography. And I also shoot travel, lifestyle, and street photography for myself. And I also work with non-profit organizations like Books to Africa, for whom I recently shot a whole catalog of their products for their new online store. I also work with bloggers and magazines who are writing about the place where I live, the places which I happen to photograph, which involves both travel, portraiture, and some kind of documentary street photography as well. So if you see all these genres together, I shoot a lot of stuff. So I tend to call myself as an opportunistic photographer. That is, I try to find the beauty in everything that I shoot, and I try to make it usable in one or the other way for people who need those images. So that's what I do as a freelance photographer. So to achieve all these together, I need some kind of photo and video gear which is easy to access, easy to carry, and easy to use when I'm on location. And all should fit in kind of one location. I don't need to carry 2-3 stuff with me wherever I go. So that is my goal with the gear that I use. So most of the times I tell people that gear does not matter, and it's true. Gear does not matter unless it starts limiting you. And that's what happened with me in the recent past. So if you have seen my latest YouTube video, you might have seen that I said bye-bye to my Canon gear and I packed it up and sold it. I have been using Canon gear for the past 10 years or so. I had a Canon 650D before, and then I had Canon 80D, and I had about 3 lenses, a 40mm, a 50mm, and a zoom lens 17 to 50. But I needed a whole bag to carry all that gear, and it was heavy. I won't lie to you, it was quite heavy. And during the last year, sometimes I got so fed up with the weight that I just used to carry my 80D with the 40mm pancake lens, and that was an awesome setup. I could shoot street, I could shoot food, I could shoot portraits, but that 40mm lens was an amazing one. It was gifted to me by my cousin, and yeah, I've used it like anything, but I still needed a little bump in the video department. I needed a little more specs, I needed a little more usability for me to be able to shoot professional video. And apart from that, there was no other complaints, and the size was still bigger. So I got this camera which is shooting me right now. It's the Insta360 1x2 for video. And for a couple of trips, I just carried my phone and the Insta360 1x2 to shoot everything, travel, food, portraits. And it was really liberating to carry so less gear, which all fits in your pockets. And I shot some really good travel photos, travel videos, and even some portraits with my phone, and they turned out great for the purpose for which I was shooting them. But I really missed having a dedicated photo camera which I could bring out really fast, put on and shoot really fast, and put it back really fast. And that was what my DSLR used to do for me. But I have already told you what was limitations. So to fill that gap, I got a new camera, which is this. It's the Fujifilm X-E4. Before I talk anything more about this camera, let's have a look at the unboxing and see what comes in the box. Here we go. basically there are two questions to answer here. Why Fujifilm and why this camera? So let's start with why Fujifilm. Fujifilm is a company which makes a lot of products in their lineup, starting from the XE line, then there's an XT line, then there's an XH line, and then there are the medium format line. The thing about Fujifilm is they never went into full frame cameras. All of their cameras are either APS-C cameras like this one, or they are medium format cameras like the GFX series. So all of their APS-C line of cameras, whether they be entry-level cameras like this one, or the high-end cameras like X-T4 or XH1, have the same X-Trans 4 sensor, and that's the best thing about this. So you just need to worry about what fits your budget and what fits your particular needs. You will not be compromising on the image quality no matter which of these cameras you buy. So that's one of the reasons I was gravitated towards Fujifilm. And people do talk about their color sciences, film simulations, and other such the dials and stuff. And after about 3 months of using this camera, I do believe that there is some truth in that. I have created my own color profiles in the camera, and I use them frequently without editing the raw images. And the JPEGs are really fine to share with friends, family, and social media. They are really good, crisp, and the color turns out really well. So yeah, there is some truth to that, but that's not the primary reason I bought this camera. The primary reason for me for choosing the XE4 in the Fujifilm lineup is definitely the size. So this size of camera with this lens, particularly the 27mm f2.8 pancake lens, fits in my coat pocket, sometimes even some pants pocket. Even if not, I can just carry it like this on my wrist without just it's smaller than my phone, guys. It's smaller than my phone, believe it or not. And yeah, so that was the main reason. And moreover, I can just pull it out of my pocket, switch it on, and start shooting within a second. It's that fast. I was a little bit worried about choosing a mirrorless camera, shooting with an EVF or shooting with the screen, but I must say the transition has been really smooth. I have had no issues switching from DSLR to mirrorless, and I find that I mostly use the screen to take images, and I rarely ever use the EVF, only if the conditions are so bright that I cannot see the screen, but that hasn't been the case most of the time. So this fits my bill, it fits my pocket, it also fits the image quality that I need out of this camera, and there's a bump in the video department as well. Sure, it doesn't have IBIS and the ergonomics are not really suited for video, but the kind of video that I make, this makes sense for me, because for me the size is more important than IBIS or actual video handling capability. Because if I'm going to use this with video, I will usually rig it with some tripod mount or some other cage with a place where I can mount the mic, etc. And the tilt screen is just that. It's just a tilt screen. It does tilt towards the front, so you can use it to vlog maybe, but if you put a mic on the cold shoe, you will not be able to vlog with it. In general, I do not have many complaints with this camera, except the exposure compensation dial. It gets in the way. It gets easily changed, and my images have been affected by that. But thankfully I shoot raw and JPEG most of the time, so it doesn't really make a difference to me, because I can still utilize the raw images to get the exposure that I want. But if you're shooting only JPEG, you need to keep in mind that this dial gets bumped often. I have gotten used to it now, and I check that it is on 0 before I start shooting, so I know how to deal with it now. People say that there are less number of buttons and stuff on this camera compared to the previous ones, but this is my first time using a Fujifilm camera, so I haven't really found that. The aperture ring is awesome to use, and the shutter speed axis is really good. I really love this clicky sound. And the silent shutter is something which, I love it. I've never used it before in any camera, and it makes sense, especially if you're in a wedding. I shot a wedding casually. I was not the photographer. I shot my friend's wedding on this, and the images turned out really well. And we were in the ceremony in the church and stuff, where it was really quiet, and the silent shutter made a lot of sense to me. Yeah, so I can see myself using it more often as well. So all in all, those are the reasons I chose this camera. Perfect size, amazing image quality, very good colors as well, though that's not my primary reason for choosing this camera. And yeah, it fit my purpose very well. This is an amazing street camera. Check, bam, 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 bam. It's an amazing, if you put a different lens, of course. This lens is not the best for portraits, but all my portraits in the last 3 months are shot on this lens. Everything I have shot is on this lens, and I'm really happy with what I have done. So yeah, that's about my new camera, the Fujifilm X-E4 with the 27mm f2.8 pancake lens. I hope that helps you understand a little bit about this camera and who it might fit, and if it fits you or not. And I just wanted to make this video as a record of why I chose to move from Canon to Fuji and why this camera in particular. And I hope it was helpful to you in some way. If it was, please leave a comment below and let me know how it was helpful to you. And if you have any questions also, please let me know. I would be happy to answer anything you want to know about this camera, my photography style, my images, or the business that I deal with. I hope you have a good day, and I hope I see you soon again. Take care. Bye-bye.